Virginia High Bearcat basketball will be on the air in 5 minutes. Minutes. Two minutes until airtime. Sixty seconds. Thirty seconds till Bearcat basketball. Fifteen seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time for Bearcat basketball from the radio home of Virginia High Athletics. You're listening to the Bearcat Tip-Off Show on Bearcat Radio. Good afternoon and welcome to tonight's coverage of Virginia High basketball on Bearcat Radio. Virginia High Lady Cats have made the cross-city trip to face the John Battle Trojans in the first game of this doubleheader. This is Dylan Hutton along with Coach Reese Sidnor as we get set to take you through another great evening of VHSL hoops. And, Coach, the Lady Bearcats face their final non-district test of the season. It's a John Battle team that they've split two previous matchups with. How does the familiarity affect tonight's matchup, this being the third time?
I think with that being said, there's no surprises. You know, both teams know each other well. They know the players to watch out for, know what they're going to do. It takes a little bit of a game planning out of it. There's really no surprises. One of the biggest thing is for us, any of these games got to focus on us, but you like to play games like this that you know the other team well. You don't have to really worry about any surprises.
Yeah, and you're not really having to, like you said, the preparation. Really, that's this final week of the year. You're playing teams that you've played at least once already, other than Graham. For the girls, of course, looks like as of now they're going to have to play them twice this final week, but there's a lot that can be changed there this final week of the year. But right now, they are set to play 4 games after this one's over between Sunday and Saturday. So it's a pretty tough slate if they end up having to do it. They got Lebanon in there. Got to go to Richlands on next Saturday. That game got rescheduled. So it's going to be
a busy week.
It'll
be a busy week.
A lot still on the line to be determined.
Yeah.
Lebanon, still hanging in there. And a lot, like you said, that Lebanon game at home for senior night coming up next week. What night's that? Tuesday night?
Tuesday night, yes.
So that's going to be a huge game. So everybody hopefully can get out there as we honor our seniors. We won't have too many going for the girls team, just Kerrigan.
No, just have one.
So that's that's always a good thing when you're not losing anybody.
So being one, that means you get a lot of stuff.
Yeah, sure. There'll be plenty of balloons and stuff ready for her. So go ahead and move on as we welcome you to the Bearcat Tip-Off Show. We get set for John Battle against Virginia High here from Battle Hill. Maya Lee's paced the Cats with 29 points in the last 3 games, Coach. And we look at her as more of a facilitator, but we see her now. What does she bring as a scorer to this team?
I've said for the last few weeks that we have multiple scorers on this team that can get hot. For her, I think what's great is it seems like those games that we struggle, if when our scorers are struggling, they're struggling hitting big-time shots, somehow it seems like those games she comes through and hit maybe 1 or 2 threes when we desperately need it because we're not hitting anything. And that's huge. Simple fact that somebody has to get us going. And usually those big-time shots, they tie games up. They put us back in games. And after that, we start getting some momentum. Yeah,
like you said, over the last week, we've had different outputs for different players. Jada Campbell had over 20 in back-to-back games. And then, of course, Amaya able to do what she's done. And then Allie put in a few there against Tennessee High. I think she got the double digits in that one. And Taylor Owens, quietly got 15. In that last game, we didn't even notice that. It seemed to slide underneath. We didn't really see that happening. We're right here on the floor tonight. We're right up against it, aren't we, between the benches. So
in the middle of everything.
Yeah, pretty busy. We're not used to all this action. We're used to being out to ourselves by a little bit, but it's a pretty good view here at Battle Hill. And final question here, John Battle boasts the top scorer in the Mountain District, Callie Hatter. She's averaging 15 points per game, and she poured in a career-high 36 last time against the Cats, and that was over in the Bearcat Den. How do they deal with her tonight since, like we said, you've got that familiarity? Think they've learned anything from the past 2?
For the past couple of years, she's been their best player, and I think we'll continue to focus on us and play good defense. But with her, she's going to get some points. She's going to do some things out there. I think for her, we could frustrate a little bit by putting different girls on her. Maya's quick, so you put Maya on a few times and maybe get her to run a little bit and tire her out a little bit. Then you put Taylor, you put that could be a little bit more physical with her. You put Allie, could be a little bit more physical with her. You put Lauren has that length. So I think if we put a couple different girls on her, that's going to bother her because they each have different strengths when it comes to the defensive game. Jada's another one. She's quick and she can knock the ball away. So I think you'll see multiple girls at different times guarding her to frustrate her a little bit.
So give her a little bit different look each time, or try to mix it up as much as possible. So we'll see what look works out the best, too, within that. And like we said, we can tell a lot from this team from the beginning, how it's going to go as far as whenever you're the pressing team. You're either going to get out to a good start, or sometimes you get a couple of whistles. It really slows things down. So that's always something to keep an eye on.
I think the biggest thing would be is if we can get going early. The last game we played them, we struggled shooting the ball, and we never got into a rhythm, and we struggled the entire game. So we'll see if we can get it going early offensively. So
maybe we'll see what the Cats can do. Again, coming off a win last game against Tazewell. Let's take a look at that one real quick. 55-52, and that was a really good afternoon for basketball. We had close games all around, but that one really a good game. Amaya Lee led the team in scoring with 17 points. Taylor Owens had 15. Kerrigan Bailey with 9, and 8 of those were in the first half. And that was really a tough test at home against the Bulldogs of Tazewell, and it was their 6th district win in a row.
Well, and then we made a big adjustment at halftime. Their star player, she had 16 of their 23 points that first half, and I believe she ended up with just 4 in the second half. I think she ended up with about 20.
Yeah, Janutalo.
Yeah.
I got that name right, yeah.
Transfer from Bluefield.
She played a really good first half. It looked like she was going to be the one, so we'll see tonight. It's basically the same kind of – the team's wearing green. Yeah. This one's green and white, not green and black, but – still, you got that one player that can really dominate,
and she's going to score. I mean, Callie's going to score. She's a really good player. I've got to watch her play a few times, know the family well. She's a really good player. She's going to get some points. Can't really worry about that. We can't let other girls beat us. So.
And for John Battle, their last game, a 58-49 win at Marion, and Callie Hatter in that one had 28 points. That was on Thursday night. Now let's take a look at the previous meetings. Like we said, these two teams have played twice already. Once in the Bearcat Invitational, the Buffalo Wild Wings Bearcat Invitational, and then the other time was the scheduled game there at home against Battle. The Cats won the first one. Jada Campbell poured in 22 points and a 50-37 win. You got to feel like that game they controlled Hatter at least most of it.
And the difference with that game was we came out hot. Jada had the hot hand that game. She couldn't miss, and we got going early. And the difference in the game that we lost against them, we could never really get anything consistently. We struggled in the first half shooting the ball. We had spurts in the second half where we got going offensively, but we couldn't sustain anything for the entire game.
Yeah, that second game was a tough 56-50 loss, and Hatter had a career-high 36 points in that one. So both times the Cats have played John Battle this year, that's been 50 points for them, and when Virginia High scores 50 or more points this year, they're 7-1. So that one loss came against Battle.
That's the magic number we got to look for tonight.
Yeah, and it's also that for the boys' game. I think the John Battle boys are the same way. They're 0-3 when they score less than 50 points, and the boys' team, whenever they score more than 50, they're 12-3. So we'll have to keep up. That's really the theme of the night, the number of the night, 50 points for each team.
And it comes back, and people want to look at the record. Battle 6-12 right now. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's kind of a little Bristol rivalry here, battle for Bristol. And just because they're 6-12, I mean, they beat us earlier in the year. I mean, this is a big game. I mean, this is for bragging rights of Bristol. You see a lot of kids walking around from each school right now. So this is the big game. So records don't mean anything right now.
Yeah, Virginia High 8-8 on the year, 6-0 in the Southwest District. But this time they'll step out of district for the final time of the 2017-2018 year. This is the storylines for tonight's game. Lady Cats look to get over 500. They can win tonight and get to 9-8 on the year, and that would win the regular season series between these two teams. Battle trying to make it back-to-back wins versus a Southwest District foe. They're coming off that win against Marion. Even though they're playing out of district games, they're still playing Southwest District teams, and they could clinch the city bragging rights. Players to watch in this game: Callie Hatter, 15 points per game. We've talked about her. And I think Taylor Owens, it'll be interesting to see the two forwards go at it a little bit, both of them leading points per game category on each district. So it'll be interesting to see. And like you said, I think the Bearcats can handle Taylor not having her best game, whereas Battle cannot.
And that's when they struggle. If Callie can't get up those, can't get to 20 points, can't get 20 plus, you're going to see them struggle scoring points. Now they do have a good point guard who's pretty fast, Bethany Smith. She's a nice little player too. But Callie's the player that they have to get going for them to hang in this game.
Yeah, had her a ENH commit, over 1,000 career points, again averaging 15 points per game. Let's go real quick here, Coach Sid Nordy, your keys for tonight's game.